Good morning to all my students. Hope you all are doing well. Today, I will be delivering a very important lecture on a very important title that is gonna be what is political theory and why do we need it. I think this is a very informative. This is going to be a very informative lecture for all of my students and for also for those people who are trying to get a very comprehensive and very extensive understanding about political theory and about political institutions, in particular. So I'm going to, now let me just begin. So in my lecture, I am going to explain what is political theory. So I would be discussing upon what is actually the theory word, what does it mean, what does it connotes. Then I would be also discussing what is political word, what does it mean. Then I will be explaining in a very systematic way what is political theory. Okay. Then I am going to talk about the central ideas. Then finally I would be I would give you the central idea, or I would summarize my lecture. Or let me just stop. Theory is borrowed from the Greek word theoria. So when we talk about the theory, it is actually a Greek origin. This word has been borrowed from the Greek word, which means looking at, viewing or beholding, how actually one person is looking at from a systematic point of view, from at any particular phenomena, and that is about theory. And especially when the Greeks during the Greek society, they used to discuss any idea or any point of view. So they look at it from serious point of view, from the intellectual insight, and they were having an intense debate and discourse. So when we talk about the theory, it means that how we are looking at particular phenomena. It is a how we are looking at any activity, and how what is our understanding about any issue or about any activity. So it is about theory means how we are looking at, how we are viewing any situation or any phenomena. When we are saying the word political, let me just give you a very particular meaning. Political means public, and what is public exactly? Public is something which is related to the government, which is relating to the public in general. Okay, so it is somehow different from the private activities. So when we say political, it has to do with public, but there is also a some sort of dichotomy between the scholars. And some of the scholars, they would say that since the private activities are also coming within the ambit of the state, and therefore they are also affecting the public in general, or they are working for the state also, for the interest of the state, and therefore we can say public and private, they are both actually part of the political activity or political process. And but some of the scholars, they would say anything which is public is only those activities which are about public, which are about which are related to the government or a state, and which are not private activities. For example, like we have the private companies, private corporations, and private organizations. So political means public, and political also means authority. So it is about authority, how authority is being for example, we say we believe that state is the highest political organization, it is the highest political entity, and it has a highest political command within a particular territory where actually the people live. And then we have politics is also about influence, like how one person is actually having a kind of influence over other people, based on the power, based on his influence, based on as a personality. So then it is about also collective power. Sometimes power is one's capacity and capability to influence the behavior of other people, and you are wishing them to that they have to work according to your own wishes. So that is power. So there is a collective power and there is a state power, and then also a political word is also related to the political behavior. Now, how it is really related? When we say politics is also a kind of study or a kind of understanding, that we want to understand the individual and group behavior under different political circumstances. What do they want? How do they want? And what are their real expectations from the political parties to whom they give their consent? And that makes a sense. That means that is a political activity. That is a political behavior. So when we relate political behavior with politics, political word, that means so politics is also about political behavior, understanding political behavior, individual behavior, group behavior. Okay, under different political circumstances, what do they want? How do they want? And why? What are their political expectations once they are giving their consent or power to any political party? Okay, when we say theory is to get knowledge about any phenomena, so through thoughtful experiences. Since we are human beings, we have thoughtful experiences in our society. We are Homo sapiens. We are always evolving our reason, rationality, and the thoughtful experience. For example, I can give you the example of wood and chair. So the human beings, they would prefer chair on wood because chair is very systematically it has been crafted, and you can relax on chair. You can take a cup of tea. You can be reading on chair, and therefore chair and wood example is actually, especially the chair example, is the thoughtful experience of the human beings. Similarly, when we talk about the theory is to get knowledge about any phenomena through thoughtful experiences, intellectual insight. So you have to evolve the intellectualism. Therefore, when we talk about the political theorists, he will be always trying to discuss things from intellectual perspective, from the critical perspective, from multiple perspectives, from different sources, and he would be talking about, he would be evolving the observation, experimentation, verification, and trying to understand the human behavior and the society, and the state and people, and so everything from the critical perspective and from multiple perspective, and through his sense experience also. Therefore, when we say theory is to get knowledge about any phenomena through thoughtful experiences, intellectual insight, sense experience, and from critical perspective and from multiple perspective. So everything starts from theory. This is a very general notion. So whether it is science or whether it is any subject, that has to start from theory. So theory comes first. Same is the case with political science. We have to start from theory. So we are always interested in theory building. We are always looking that we have to we have to produce something new in our society, in our subject, and we have to relate our subject with different subjects, because nowadays subjects have become multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary, and that is very important. So when we talk about political theory, it is a systematic study. It is a systematic knowledge about political phenomena. Okay, according to, I would like to also like to in words of David Hill, how he defines political theory. He says that political theory is a network of concept and generalization about political phenomena. Okay, about life, involving ideas, assumptions, statements about the nature, purpose, and key features of the government, state, and society, and about political capabilities of human beings. So the David Hill is also making a sense when he is talking about what is political theory. So he says it is a network of concept and generalization about political phenomena, about life, involving ideas. So you have a political theorist to discuss number of ideas, plethora of ideas, plenty of ideas about state, society, government, about people. You have the different concepts there in political theory. For example, liberty, equality, justice, political representation, state, and nature of state, society, and multiple theories which are there in political theory. So you want to understand those theories from the from critical perspective, from the from scientific point of view, through using by the use of the sense experience and observation, and you want to verify that those theories. And therefore the political science is also, when I am saying science, that means how you are acquiring knowledge through the observation, through experimentation, and through verification of theories, and so on and so forth. And therefore political science is also science, because we relate the word science with politics, and that makes this subject very much meaningful and very much modern. When I am saying political theory, that means a political theorist, he will be always evolving his sense experience, critical perspectives, and he will be dealing it by using the highest class of intellectual or intellectualism, and in order to understand different concepts which are there in our society, related to the government, related to the state, related to the rights of the people, liberty, equality, and political representation, and so on and so forth. And therefore I can say when an organization is designed to regulate the whole community, it takes the character of polity. Okay, so when we believe that when an organization, when is taking a kind of structure where we are trying to regulate the entire society, so that justice could prevail, the order could prevail, okay, and in a very well organized manner, then it definitely takes the character of polity. Okay, and then we have to also let me just also try to explain the nature of actually the political theory. Political theory, it gives us a knowledge about it is always evolving the situation of continuous process of innovation. That means the political theorist will be doing, actually he will be evaluating all the political theorists, what they will be doing. They will be evaluating innovation, refinement, rejection, and incorporation from other sources. So they will be using these type of techniques. Okay, that means that refinement, rejection, incorporation. Okay, so and discussing the ideas from multiple perspectives. Then also political theorists, it creates an intricate link between political process, political actors, and political institution with his belief structures. And when he is trying to create a link between political process, political institutions, and and different ideas, that means he is paving a way forward, or it leads to a epic theory or grand theory in political science. That is and also Germano's point of view is that viewing man's societal existence from critical perspectives. So what actually the political theorist he might be doing, that he is trying to discuss the societal, the humans viewing man's societal existence from multiple perspectives. That is the point of view of the Germano. And there is also the political theory plays a very what is the function of political theory and what is the role of the political theory. And actually it gives us a kind of understanding. Why do we study the political theory? It gives us understanding who we are actually, and we are surrounded by the society, we are surrounded by multiple issues, we are confronted by multiple problems, and how do we deal those problems, and how do we look at those issues, and how do we sort out those problems is a very important trajectory in political theory. Okay, and the political theory plays a very important role, an explanatory role, and it is also solving the ethical questions. For example, we are looking at different issues from ethical point of view, from ethical criterion. Okay, and it also tells us what ought to be and what not to be. So it will also tell us what is the best order and what is not a best order, what is good and what is bad. So everything will be a lot of understanding will be provided by the political theory once we will be reading this subject in a very depth, and with a lot of preparation. And so what not to be. So justification of actions, it will be also giving us a sense that how we are going to justify the different actions in our society. Okay, now let me just also tell you when I'm talking about the political theory, it is consisted upon three important statements. The first statement is empirical statement. When I am saying the empirical statement, the empirical statement is based on the observation. through sense experience. So that means we have, for example, sound, for example, smell, for example, many other things, for example, taste. So these are the, so we observe things from these, through sense experience, our sense experience, and its example is sound, smell, test. Okay, then we have the logical statement. So political theory is also based on logical statement. This logical statement is based on reasoning. Okay, reasoning. And for example, when I am saying that 2 plus 2 is 4, 2 plus 2 means 4, then it is the third one is evaluative statement. So political theory is also based on, the value judgment, that when I am saying, for instance, when I am saying all men are equal, all men are equal, that means I am making an evaluative statement. Okay, so these are the three statements which will on which on these three statements the political theory will be based on. Let me just summarize. Okay, political theory deals with political institutions and with theories of state, law, liberty, equality, and political representation. It is essentially comparative in methodology. So it will be always dealing with evaluating the comparative methodology. A political theorist, he looks the things from the comparative perspective, from critical perspective, from contrast perspective. Okay, so it can make queries or questions. For example, what it is. When, for example, if I am asking a question what it is, then I am talking in a language of political theory. So what it is, why social revolution is different from social engineering or social reform, or what is justice. So this it is different from the political philosophy, which is based on what ought to be, whereas the political theory is based on what it is, why social revolution is different from social engineering and social reform, and what is justice. So I think I have completed my lecture here. Thank you so much for hearing my lecture. Stay blessed. See you in next lecture. Take care of yourself.